seated. We've got a good one for you today. Eyes gouging and limbs being severed. Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, sounds like Halloween 3. I promise I'm going to take it easy on you. Yes, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I guess I don't have to tell any of you that. And preachers all over the country are searching furiously for football analogies to bring to the gospel. I don't have any football analogies, but I do have a basketball analogy. This morning's message is called Full Disclosure. Full Disclosure. And as you have heard, it's about rules, it's about expectations, it's about standards, and how Jesus, when he began his ministry, significantly raises the bar with those rules and expectations and standards. So here's my basketball story about rules. When I was a high school basketball player, this was my freshman year, and I hadn't had much experience playing basketball at the high school level. And for whatever reason, our coach thought we weren't quite playing tough enough. We weren't playing tough enough. We weren't being aggressive, weren't rebounding well, weren't initiating that fast break that we were supposed to. So he came up with an idea to help us play tougher. He set up a game with us to play the inmates at the state prison. Initially, none of the players thought that was a very good idea. And we said okay, and on that afternoon, we loaded on the bus and off we went to the state prison. It's a pretty sobering experience for a 14-year-old kid having to go in and see that sight. But when we saw the gymnasium, it was really interesting because it was a fairly large gymnasium, beautifully appointed, but there was fencing, chain link fencing all around the stands, and so it was full of inmates, and of course the inmates were pretty excited to see their team play. You can imagine. So anyway, the game begins, and we're playing. We're not doing that well, and the man I'm guarding, he's all over me. I'm trying to post him up, and he's just kind of throwing me away. And, I got a couple elbows in the head, and I got a couple of shots to the ribs, and so we weren't used to playing with it like this. We weren't used to playing. We were used to playing by the rules. And so finally, I said to the ref, "Ref, am I going to be able to get a call here?" He said, "Absolutely not." He said, "The guy you're guarding's in for triple life plus 5. He said, "I'm not saying a word." So we kind of learned that lesson. We learned to, a little bit to toughen up, and we learned about rules. We learned about rules that sometimes rules change. Sometimes standards and expectations differ from what we're used to. That's exactly what's happening in the gospel today. It's pretty amazing when Jesus was talking about the reference to the Ten Commandments, and it says, "You have heard it said," and I it said, but I say. Whenever you read that, look out, because something good is going to happen there. You're going to get a hint on how Jesus plans to raise the standard, how he plans to shake up the societal dimensions of spirituality and religiousness of his day. You've heard it said, but I say. So, you've heard it said, you shall not commit murder. Well, that's pretty low standard. I haven't killed anybody. That's, not too hard to comply with. But then, we get the full disclosure. We get full disclosure. What's Jesus' take on that standard? You've heard it said, do not commit murder, do not kill. But I say, even if you're angry with your brother, you have to go fix that before you come to worship. If you're carrying that hard-heartedness, that is the new standard. That's my expectation as followers of the Jesus way. Not that you just don't kill anybody, but that you're at peace with those that you love. You're at peace with those that you love. I love the words. But I say to you that if you're angry with a brother or sister, you will be liable to judgment. If you insult a brother or sister, you'll be liable to counsel. And if you say, you fool, you'll be liable. So when you're offering your gift at the altar, remember that if your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift and go fix it and then come back. We always say that Christianity is simple. It's simple. Love one another as I have loved you. Love fearlessly. Simple. But this is where it gets hard. This is the fine print in the contract that Jesus is offering us. When you go to settlement on your house and you sign a stack of documents that's this thick, that's what this is. You have heard it said, but I tell you, this is the fine print. This makes it. This is the standard of the Jesus way. You have heard it said, you should not commit adultery, but I say to you, everyone who looks at another one, with lust in their eyes, has already committed it. That's an interesting one. And the expectation that I believe that Jesus is telling us there is, if we are indeed all related, if we are all indeed brothers and sisters, it is inappropriate, it is disrespectful to view each other as objects of our gratification. So he's reinforcing here, the fact that we are all family. We are all family. Interesting. Also, when he comes out pretty strongly on divorce, and I always like to speak about this one. Really, why would you want to do that, Father? Because this setting of this standard is contextual. It's nuanced. And what we have to do is we have to go back and think about the time in which Jesus was speaking, in the historical time that Jesus was speaking. And in that time, the classic rabbinical understanding was that, according to Deuteronomy, a man could divorce his woman for any unpleasantness. Any unpleasantness. That's pretty broad. So if you burn the dinner, you can be out. Any unpleasantness. And so what that means is when Jesus says, you've heard it said that you can bring a certificate of divorce, but I say to you, no, because of Jesus' love for women, She only had very, very few options, and none of them were good. So, in his strong stance against that type of divorce, that type of really a death sentence, spiritual and physical death sentence for your spouse, Jesus came out strong and said, no, our women are to be respected, our women are to be loved and treasured. And lastly, about taking of the oath. I really love that one a lot. And I'll tell you why. The Quakers, most of you know that I spent some time as a Quaker during my spiritual journey. And they will never take an oath. When a Quaker has to go to court, they will simply affirm that what they're going to say is the truth. And why is that? Because there should never be a double standard of what is the truth and what is not the truth. Right? If the only standard is, okay, I swear to God that what I'm saying is truthful, then what about all the other stuff you say? There should only be one standard of truth. And that's where Jesus again is raising the bar, raising the expectations, raising the standards for us as Jesus' way followers. We should always tell the truth. We shouldn't have to swear to it. Every word should be true. Makes total sense. Makes total sense. So, full disclosure. In our gospel today, Jesus is again giving us the fine print. Giving us the fine print. We have a choice. We have a choice. You know, we can read, listen, understand, and act. And that's the choice that we want to make. Jesus has told us to